Onome dragged the goat to the village police station. "Arrest this goat officer," Madam Onome ordered the policeman. "But why, madam?" The policeman questions Madam Onome with surprise written all over his face. "This stupid goat destroyed my farmland. Therefore, this goat needs to face the consequences of its action." This is how the story begins. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled deep within the African savannah, lived a woman named Onome. Onome was known far and wide for her wealth, large portions of farmland that cannot be numbered, and for her unending greed. One particular dry season when crops was scarce and as a result there was hunger in the land, Onome noticed that her crops are being destroyed by something or even someone. One particular night, out of curiosity, Onome decided to go to her farm to set a trap to see who it was that always destroy her crops in her farm. But lo and behold, she saw a very big goat devouring her crops. Out of anger, she bounced on the goat and tied the goat with rope. The next morning, Madam Onome dragged the goat to the village police station. "Arrest this goat officer," Madam Onome ordered the policeman. "But why, madam?" The policeman questions Madam Onome with surprise written all over his face. "This stupid goat destroyed my farmland. Therefore, this goat need to face the consequences of its action." "But madam, do you realize that this goat is just a mere animal?" The policeman questions Madam Onome again. "Arrest this goat officer. This goat must pay for the damage done to my farmland. If the goat cannot pay, then the owner must pay. Only then will the goat be released from this police station." Meanwhile, 2 streets away from where Madam Onome lived, there was an old childless widow who have no family except her big goat. Life have really dealt with this old widow. She have gone through many sufferings and pain in life. She used to have a lovely husband and 10 children, but she loses all her 10 children within 10 days. She loses her first 5 children from strange illnesses and the other 5 children from car accidents. After the death of all her children, life became unbearable for the old widow and her husband. They mourned their children for months and they decided to bounce back to life again and continue with their lives together as husband and wife. They were happy together again even when they have no child to call their own. But one day, the husband fell sick and was rushed to the hospital by his wife. Before she could know it, her husband's sickness grew from bad to worse. They visited so many hospitals and herbalists, but there was no solution to her husband's sickness. They sold all their properties, all their farmlands, and all their cattle, sheep, and goats, leaving behind a small piece of farmland and one goat. They lost all they have ever had and all they have ever lived for. But eventually her husband died. She was devastated. She cried and cried until she could cry no more. She buried her husband and was left with nothing but just one small piece of farmland and one small goat which she trained to be her companion. All her family and friends abandoned her and they believed she was cursed. She never minded them, but she began a normal life with her goat by her side. She loved her goat so much and the goat loved her too in return. The villagers begin to envy her relationship with her goat and the way the goat was so big. So they all came to her to buy the goat from her because of how big the goat was, but she refused to sell the goat to them, even to the highest bidder. The widow always carries the goat to wherever place she goes to. She carries the goat to the church, to her farm, and even to the marketplace to sell her goods. One morning, she find out that her goat was missing. She searched the entire compound for the goat, but the goat was nowhere to be found. So she began searching for the goat in the street when a little girl told her that her goat had been arrested by Madam Onome. "What did you just say?" The old widow asked the little girl again. "Your goat have been arrested by Madam Onome. Madam Onome claimed that your goat destroyed her farmland. On earth we arrest a mere goat?" The old woman asked the little girl with a surprised look. "Anyway, thank you, little girl. Let me go to Madam Onome to plead on behalf of my goat." Then the old widow left for Madam Onome farm. But on getting to Madam Onome farm, she saw something that surprised her. She saw Madam Onome destroying her farmland by herself. She wondered in her mind why Madam Onome was destroying her farmland by herself. But she decided to walk straight to Madam Onome. "Good afternoon, madam." The old widow greeted Madam Onome. "Please, madam, I am the owner of the goat you arrested, and I came to apologize on behalf of what my goat did to your farm, and also to beg you to release the goat back to me." "Release this stupid goat back to you?" Madam Onome shouted at the old widow. "Do you know the amount of damage your stupid goat did to my farm? Look at all the destruction your goat did to my farmland." Madam Onome pointed to the spot where she destroyed by herself. "But madam, I saw you destroying that part of the farmland when I came," the old woman explained to Madam Onome. "Yes, I saw you. You were destroying that part of the farmland when I came." "Yes, I destroyed the part of the farmland myself. What can you do? Who will believe you? You are just an old, helpless, childless widow with no one that will believe you. I destroyed the part of the farm by myself so that you will reward me handsomely. I want the destruction to look massive so that you will reward me handsomely." "But you said it, Madam Onome, that you destroyed the farm by yourself. So why do you want me now to reward you for something you did by yourself?" Madam Onome laughed at the old widow. "I heard you have a very fertile piece of land, that your farmland is one of the most fertile farmland in this village. So I want you to hand over that piece of farmland to me, and of course the very big goat I arrested. That is when you have no money to pay for the destruction your goat did to my farmland. Please, madam." The old widow fell down on her knees crying. "I am just an helpless old woman with nobody to help me. Please, that goat you arrested mean the world to me. That goat is my companion. That goat have always been the only family I have behind since I lost my entire family. Please, I want you to temper justice with mercy and hand over my goat to me." Madam Onome kicked the old woman and pushed her on the floor. "You are such a wicked old woman. So you want me to hand over your goat back to you? Never. I will never do that. It is either you pay me big amount of money or you hand over your fertile farmland to me, and also that very big goat of yours. If you cannot do that, then you should get out of my sight." Madam Onome pushed the old widow again and left her crying on the floor in her farm. The old woman cried and cried, and she eventually got up and walked out of Madam Onome's farm. The next day, Madam Onome went to the police station to talk to the policeman in charge of the case. On reaching there, she saw the old widow standing next to the goats in the police prison. "What are you doing here?" she shouted at the old widow. "Officer, why did you allow this old witch here?" Madam Onome questions the policeman. "But she have the right to visit her goat," the policeman explained to Madam Onome. "Please, my daughter, can you ask the officers to release my goat back to me? I have no money. Please, I am begging you, in God's name." The old woman cried and begged Madam Onome, you have no money, you don't have any money, but yet your goat can go to people's farm to destroy their farmland. Abi, don't worry, by the time I'm done with you and that your stupid goat, nobody will recognize you or that your stupid goat. Officer, officer, Madam Onome called the officer. Yes, here I am, madam, the officer answered Madam Onome. Why did you allow this woman here? Anyway, that is not the bone of contention. This old widow here said she have no money to pay me for the destruction her goats did to my farm. If she have no money, then she have something that she can give me in exchange of the farmland her goats destroyed. I want her farmland. I want a piece of farmland in the heart of this village. I heard that her farmland is the most fertile farmland in this village, so I want her to give me her farmland in exchange for the destruction and also a very big goat. Yes, it is either you give me your farmland or your goat, or I charge this case to court. You charge the case to court? The policeman and the old widow questions Madam Onome surprisingly. Yes, I have said it. I will charge you and your goat to court if you cannot fulfill your farmland to me. Then Madam Onome walked majestically out of the police station. Then the old widow was crying profusely.